Welcome to this module on Customer Experience Management. CEM goes much beyond mere customer satisfaction. It is about the customer having an enjoyable, beneficial, and rewarding experience. When an experience is enjoyable, beneficial, and rewarding, the tendency of any person is to duplicate it or share it and involve others as well. Do you remember when you had an exciting experience? It could be a roller coaster ride at a theme park, or whitewater rafting at some resort, or dancing at a discotheque, or a long ride with friends or family get-together, or whatever. Did you not want to repeat it or share with others or involve them? It's exactly the same with customer management. The objective is to help your customers get the most out of your experience, expertise, and knowledge, so that they not just repeat or increase the purchase, but also give you leads and referrals for new sales. That's it. That's what selling is through the customer experience management route. We are sure that this is one journey you will really enjoy and learn from. CEM definition. Customer engagement management is a practice, meaning that ideas, theories, best practices, etc. have to be executed and implemented. This is done through meaningful interaction and focused discussion with the customer. It is a duty, responsibility, and solemn obligation of the salesperson to improve CEM. The salesperson could also call upon experts and more experienced members of his team to help him to do so, but the primary responsibility rests with him. CEM is not a one-time task, but rather a continuous process, with each engagement being an improvement over the earlier, as well as movement in the direction towards the customer taking on the role of an advocate of your products and services. CEM is not just about starting or initiating discussion. It is also about actively listening to the prospect's customers or customers, gathering his expectations and reacting suitably so that the outcome is beneficial to both the parties. The objective is to uncover and address problems, expectations, so that the customer is able to improve his business through your solutions. This improvement should be in excess of his expectations, so that you not only have his loyalty for years to come, but also his recommendation of your solutions, of his business connections. McKinsey has, through its research, established that customers most of all want a satisfying experience rather some concessions. They expect meaningful discussions that help them get the most out of the solution so that they experience larger and faster ROIs. CEM attitude and approach. To make CEM beneficial to all the parties, it is important that you maintain the right attitude and approach. First thing first, see yourself as a businessman who is capable of having his customers reap the benefits of your solution and improve his business, and not just a salesperson out to pick up an order. Be a well-wisher to the customer. Ask yourself this question: who will benefit more from this sale, you or the customer? You will realize that while the order from the customer will contribute to this month's or quarter's target, your customer will benefit from your solution for years to come. So chin up and be proud of your role in helping the customer improve his business, not just now, but in the distant future as well. Secondly, all your discussions should be around how the buyer can benefit. A majority of the salespeople do not do this. They are mainly focused on picking up the order by hook or by crook. Even though you maintain the right attitude, you still may not get the deal for several reasons beyond your control. But you can be sure that your customer will not forget you, your approach, and your attitude for a long time to come. He may not buy from you, but will definitely recommend you elsewhere. Thirdly, while you may know your solution and the related benefits very well, you will not know the customer customer-specific business needs and problems. You may have a good idea about his industry, but you will not be knowing about his specific business and related problems. Get curious. Ask him a lot of questions only for the reason of getting to understand his needs better so that you could make the right recommendations. But please do take permission to ask him questions by giving him the reason for doing so. Fourthly, always go prepared for a customer meeting. You need to make your meeting interesting, so it pays to go prepared and some stories which are relevant to your customer environment. Fifth, you are not alone. You will be stronger when you work in your team. You need to identify people and their expertise and take their help to address your customer needs so that you are able to at least meet and maybe exceed their expectations. However, you will always be singularly responsible and accountable for this prospect even if you take a team member on a meeting. Lastly, be result-oriented at every stage. There has to be some positive movement in the case. Every meeting or engagement with the customer has to have a positive business outcome. You need to keep this in mind. A positive outcome need not necessarily mean an order or revenue. It could just mean a strong relationship or higher goodwill earned. Like they say, you sell their products or goodwill. One good indication is that if your prospects wants to meet you again, you have a good thing going. CEM touchpoints. Like we said earlier, CEM is a process in which there are several opportunities to interact with the prospects or customer. Each of such opportunities is called a touchpoint. We have built a CEM system for you which includes 8 touchpoints. 4 are before the sale is made and 4 are after the sale is made. That is in the implementation stage. These stages usually run sequentially, but not always as a rule. No matter what, these stages will ultimately follow a sequence as described in this slide. This is a touchpoint matrix for you to manage your customer's experience and turn every such touchpoint into wow experience. If you see, you have 2 major areas that demand a different way of managing the customer experience. The areas before the sale, sales process, and after the sale, implementation process. Each of these touch points are explained in detail in the following slides, including your role to make the experience a wow experience for the customer, as well as what the desired experience outcome should be. Under each of these major areas, there are several touch points that give you an opportunity to really wow the customers. These touch points are those points in the entire process where you interact with the prospect and have the opportunity to help the customers with the benefits of your solution. Let's look at each of these touch points. Before the sale, the first point is need discovery. This is a stage where the customer just realizes that he may need to go in for a software to help him in his business. He will not be sure as to what he wants and is very vague about his needs and requirements. In the event that you are in touch with the prospect, you will need to engage with him to understand his needs and what really triggered them. The second touch point, need assessment. At this touch point, you would need to make an impartial assessment of the prospect's needs and see if you could largely address his need through your solution. I use the word impartial because you should under no circumstances try to push your product onto the prospect irrespective of whether he needs it or not. This touch point requires your maturity and skills as a prudent businessman to improve the prospect's experience with you. Third touch point is matching product with needs. At this touch point, you will need to take the lead and match the benefits of your product to the needs of the prospect. You need to be sure that you are honest and do not mislead or misrepresent facts to the prospect. You need to do this even at the risk of jeopardizing your case. This touchpoint will test your skills in products knowledge and sales. The third touchpoint is decision and sign-up. This is a touchpoint where the prospect puts his full faith in your recommendations and commitments. Make sure you do not overcommit. You need to close all loose ends and close completely. There is no going back from this point. The fourth touchpoint, new toy stage. At this touchpoint, the customer is very excited about his purchase and in all probabilities is expecting too much from the product. You need to engage with the customer to manage any post-purchase anxiety issues. This is true of every existing customers who are using Tally. The fourth stage is learning stage. Learning is a constant and continuous process. During the implementation process, your customer is learning new things in a new environment. There's one touch point that gives you the opportunity to make an everlasting mark on your customer. You need to stand firm alongside your customer and see that you deliver as promised. The next stage would be effectiveness stage. In this touch point, you will see how your customer is actually deriving the benefit that you promised. It could be in the analysis of data or speed of data entry or compliance issues or anything else. Here you will need to connect back to the need and product match touch points and prove your capability to the customer. This is where you gain the complete trust of the customer. The last touch point is advocacy. In this touch point, your customer will be ready to recommend you to new prospects or give you an impressive testimonial or recommend your products and services on any open business forum. This is a real test of your selling efforts. If you have got a wow response from all the other touch points of the past, you will easily get your customer support and advocacy. That is what selling is all about anyway. Sometimes many touch points could merge into one, or a single touch point could lead to several meetings. This would depend upon the size and need of the prospect. Now let's look at each one of these touch points in greater detail and at some real life examples of each of the above touch points. Need discovery.